Hi guys. So today marks the end of my second last semester in university. So I'm having my 1 month winter break now, from in December basically, and I start my last semester of uni next year in January. So I have a bit more time this winter holiday to film and edit more vlogs. Yeah, so I thought today would be a good day to do a vlog of my 9 month ownership review of my 2022 Merc AMG Line CLA Coupé. Yeah, so I'll be covering a couple of pointers. So one will be 5 things I love about my car, 5 things I hate about my car, fuel economy, fuel efficiency, and I'll also touch on things that I just found out about the car in general over the past 9 months. So yeah, let's dive right into things. Well, the first thing I love about my CLA is the fact that the facelifted CLA models just look so sexy. I mean, come on, look at it. I mean, the interior is just amazing. The quality of the interior, I feel like Merc just does one of the best interiors, hands down. I mean, of course, if you're just comparing among the main few in this category, like BMs, Audi, Lexus, I feel like the interior is just so much more futuristic. I feel like Mercer's interiors are way ahead of its time. Okay, and the second thing that I love about this car is that it comes with this Mercedes Me app, and this Mercedes Me app is honestly, is really good. It's a game changer, I would say. I believe a lot of newer cars have this as well. So first of all, it allows you to see the vehicle status. Now ignition is on, so it says that my car's unlocked. Yeah, so it essentially allows you to see. I don't have to be in the car for this to work, by the way. I'm currently at OCBC Chulia Street. I can be at Jurong, I can be at West Coast, and it will actually still allow me to see all these details. So I can check whether the windows are down, whether the doors are closed, so on and so forth. And another neat feature I like is that it allows me to see my trip data. So I generally use this to track my fuel level, how many percent it is set before I refuel, just so I can get a more accurate dollar per liter. And yeah, I also take a look at my average fuel consumption. You can track this from the start or from the reset. But just ignore the average consumption of 11.9 liters from start, because I literally just turned on my car. But anyway, apart from this, I can also lock and unlock my car. I don't actually have to be near it. Like I said, I'm at Chulia Street, which is downtown CBD. I can actually be in West Coast, East Coast, and I can actually unlock my car. So it's a really neat feature if, I'm not at home. I left my car at home, and maybe I'm at town and a family member needs something from my car. I can actually just unlock my car from my phone. So it's a really neat feature. Or actually, I will be showing you guys a screen recording. So yeah. And another thing I like about this app is the vehicle search function. So I know some of you have really bad memory. Let's say a mall has basement 1, 2, 3, 4. You know you parked at B3, but you have no idea where. Sometimes you just forget, right? Sometimes it's just one of those days where you forget. But you know you parked at B3. What you can do is use this Mercedes Me app. You can actually, it will point you in the general direction of where your car is. It will not tell you which floor is parked on, but it will point you in roughly which direction you should be walking in towards your car. And typically, if you remember the floor, just walk in the general direction, you will get to it. So this is a lifesaver. This is really a lifesaver for myself. Okay, the third thing I like about this car is that it is really such a smooth drive. I mean, from having driven the Audi R8, the V8 R8, the Porsche 718, other cars as well, not that many actually. It's really such a smooth drive. Of course, you can't compare it to the Artronic single clutch gearbox or on the V8 R8, but generally it's quite a smooth car, and it's very quiet. You don't really hear that much from the outside. That's what I really like about the car. It's smooth, it's quiet. And fourthly, I like the fact that it has enough power. So this engine is a 1.4 litre inline 4 turbocharged engine, which generates 128 brake horsepower. And initially, before I took delivery of this car, I drove a car with very similar horsepower. I believe it was the Hyundai Avante S, which has 121 brake horsepower, and I was really worried because honestly that 7 horsepower is not going to make that much of a difference, and I felt really I felt like it had really little power, and it's not that I want to drive obnoxiously, it's not like I want to drive really fast and speed down the highways. It's more of when I want to overtake, I want to cut out into lane 1, go back to lane 2. I don't want to have to cause the car on lane 1 to slow down for me to overtake, I just want to cut out quickly and zip back in. So I was worried that 128 brake horsepower was not going to be enough, but actually when I started driving it, it's more than enough. It's more than enough because it's turbocharged, and yeah, it's really good for someone like myself who only has currently I only have 2 years worth of driving experience. Back when I picked up my car in March, I had about slightly north of a year's worth of driving experience. So for someone who hasn't driven that much, I think this particular car has more than enough power than I need. And yeah, I think it's a really fun drive as well. If you want to have a bit more fun, you can always put it into sports mode and use the pedal shifters when you are zipping in and out of traffic. So yeah, I think it's really more than enough power at 128 brake horsepower. Okay, so the fifth thing I really like about this car, really just small things that all add up and make your daily driving experience really enjoyable. It's not just one major thing. So yeah, first of all is the brake hold function, which I came to realize that actually is quite common in most of the newer cars, but forgive me because at that point I had no idea. I thought it was a must thing. So for those of you who do not know, brake hold function is essentially when you come to the red light, your car stop, you just gently tap on the brakes really quick, like bap, and then you can essentially just lift off your foot from the brake and it won't move lah. Yeah, so it's for lazy people like myself. Yeah, but then I realized that it's actually really common in a lot of newer cars. So anyway, the next thing I like is the fact that this has keyless entry. So let me show you guys. This is my car key. The 2022 model onwards, keyless entry, which I believe Merc calls it keyless go, comes standard in their CLA coupes. But for the 2021 model and prior, it doesn't come standard. So for those of you who do not know, keyless entry, I'm just gonna make this as layman as possible. I'm gonna assume that you guys are car rookies just like myself 1 year ago. So without keyless entry, you essentially have to press this button in order to unlock your car. Then you can open the car door. But for keyless entry, as long as the car key is in your pocket, the proximity sensor will pick it up once you walk close enough to the door, and you can just open the door without pressing any button. So that to me is a really neat feature. It's something that is really convenient. It saves a bit of the hassle of having to press the buttons. But of course, if you want to, you can still press the buttons lah. Maybe some people just not say have a fetish, but some people just like pressing these things. Maybe it's habitual. Yeah, but anyway, yes. Okay, so on that note of things that come standard into the 2022 model, lane assist also comes standard in the 2022 model and onwards, and it did not come in the 2021 model and prior. So lane assist is something where if let's say you're on the second lane and you want to overtake by going onto the first lane, but there's a car coming towards you on the first lane. If you signal right before you move out, if the car senses that there's a car on lane 1 that you might potentially collide into if you were to go out at that point in time, it will blink. There would be an orange triangle on your side view mirror, will let you know that there's a car behind you on the right side. So it's just a neat feature that I feel these safety features should be standard. It should not be an option. So yeah, the last thing I like about my car is that when I turn off my car and I open my door, it brings the seat into an upright position, and it basically makes it easier for me to get out of the car. And it's just all these, like I said, it's all these little things that makes your day-to-day driving experience much more enjoyable. Okay, so now we go to the 5 things that I hate about my car. And the first pointer, I believe everyone knows this. I'm really passionate about hating on this particular feature. It's basically that my wiper judders a lot, even in the rain. Honestly, I believe this is quite standard in a lot of the Merc vehicles. It's quite normal because a lot of my friends who drive Mercedes, they also tell me that they face this same issue where their wiper judders. I will insert some videos here. Yeah, it's honestly, it's really, really annoying because I've tried every possible way to fix this, and every expert in the field has told me,
oh, come to my workshop, I'll fix it for you. I know exactly what the issue is. A lot of my customers are also Merc drivers, and we managed to fix it for them.
I go in, I let them do whatever it is, and it never works. So I've kind of given up on trying to fix it. It's been 9 months. Maybe I'll share some of the things that I've tried, so let you guys know. Maybe you guys also have the same issue as me, and you guys can relate. I've tried waxing the windshield using you know, one of those basically allows beading on your car. I will insert a video here. And I know some of you say that it's probably the wax on the windshield that's causing the problem. But I've tried 4-5 different waxers and all of them yield the same results. Basically nothing. Nothing has changed. It still judders. I also clay bar everything. Clay bar basically means to remove everything on your windshield. Remove the wax, remove any coating at all. And yes, it did actually help a little bit. The sound, the juddering went away. There was still a bit of juddering, but for the most part, I think it quietened down by about 80%. But the issue is, after I clay barred, there was no beading on the windshield at all. And whenever it rained, it would just be too damn dangerous to drive. You know, it would be so scary to drive in the rain because the rain just stays on your windshield. So I decided I would much rather have the juddering sound but have beading than not have the sound or minimize sound and have no beading at all. But yeah, I've tried waxing, I've tried changing the wipers. Changing the wipers didn't help at all, so I changed it back to the stock ones. And yes, I have actually brought it back to CNC. The agent who serviced me, I'm not going to name names, he or she basically said that this is very common in a lot of Mercers and we can't help you. Well, technically they did try, do polishing for my windshield, did not work. Brought it back a second time, couple of months later, they call it a star polishing, I believe. They did it again, still didn't work. It worked for maybe a couple of days, but the juddering came back. So I kind of just gave up because they basically told me they can't help me, and this is very standard in Mercers. So, and the next thing is really first world problems, but Apple CarPlay or Android Auto is not wireless in this car. I know a lot of other cars, Apple CarPlay or Android comes wireless, but this one is not. I believe it is wireless in BM. And for my friend's Toyota GR86, his is the 2022 model as well, and it also comes wireless. But for Merc, I mean, come on, your interior the design is so futuristic, you're way ahead of your time. But the yeah, so okay, that's the second point. The pointer is that I actually have to bend forward to use the M-Bucks when I'm driving, you know. It doesn't matter if I'm short. I know I'm short, but for my friends who are really tall, above 180, dude, they still have to bend forward to touch the screen on the M-Bucks. So it's something that it's not the most pleasant thing to do while I'm driving. I have to constantly bend forward if I want to touch the screen. And I know at this point some people are gonna say, bro, there's this trackpad that I can use. I know that I can use the trackpad, but sometimes it's just easier to touch the screen there rather than slowly, you know, using the trackpad. Okay, the fourth thing that I dislike about this car is the fact that I can lock my car door without the doors being fully closed. I mean, in this day and age where technology is so advanced, you would think that there would be some feature to tell you that your car door is not fully closed, right? And that you can't lock the door. But no, I can actually lock the doors without the doors being fully closed. So let me tell you guys a story about what happened, I think about a month or 2 months ago. I will not name names because this person told me, better not tell anyone this story. Blah, blah, blah. So I was at Gardens by the Bay for an event. So it was just me and this passenger. And then this is the car. So I got out on the right side and he or she got out from the left side. I closed my door and they closed the door. And we walked this direction to the event. Like I said, I'm short, so I can't see over my car. So I didn't see whether they closed the door properly. I just assumed they did. Okay, anyway, we were in a rush as well, so I just walked off and reached the event, yada yada, and then after 2-3 hours, we came back to the car and they walked to that side of the car and their face was... Bro, I was standing there like, what? What? Just tell me. In my head, I was like, did someone scratch my car? But the thing is that there was no one parking on my left, no one parking on my right. I mean, of course, someone could have came in and then left, right? Or maybe hit and run or something like that. And that person told me, I didn't close your car door. I'm like, bro, what the? So thankfully, everything was there. Nothing was stolen, nothing was gone at all. But yeah, it's a really silly feature. So just to let you guys know, your car can actually lock without the doors being fully closed, so make sure to check. Okay, so the fifth thing that I dislike about this car, these are gonna be very small issues that are very minute, but they all add up. So the first thing that I noticed immediately within the first 2-3 days of driving this car is that, because before this, I used to drive my dad's Volvo T6S90 Inscription, and like most cars, they typically have a gear stick, right, where we would rest your hand on. But this particular car, or most Merces, don't have gear sticks, right? They have this wrist rest for you to rest your wrist on, and it's honestly not the most comfortable because you actually have to keep your fist closed. You can't keep your fist open because then it will be touching the trackpad, and the trackpad is ultra sensitive. It's gonna mess up your embarks. So you have no choice but to keep your fist closed, and because you're keeping your fist closed, it basically causes your fist to be very hot and sweaty within 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so next I want to talk about fuel economy. Even though they advertised it as 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers, it actually really isn't that good to me, okay? And my average consumption ranges between 7.1 to 7.4 liters per 100 kilometers. Now I know a lot of you might be saying that, oh, it's just the way you drive, you like to speed, you like to do this and that. Actually, no, I rarely drive in sports mode. I don't even drive on comfort mode. In fact, I drive on eco mode. I mean, but whatever the case is, I think it's still quite fuel efficient. And anyway, for the past 9 months, I have been tracking a lot of my data. So yeah, like I said, fuel economy has an average of 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers. Pretty decent. That translates to around 13.69 kilometers per liter. I drive almost every day, I would say 5 to 6 days a week on average. I do around 1,712 kilometers a month, which equates to around 428 kilometers a week, or 61.1 kilometers a day. And I pump on average once every 8.13 days, and each time I pump my tank, it is an average of 19.86%. Of course, 200%, like I only pump full tank. So it costs an average of $85.72, and I pump 95 at SPC, and this is with 21% discount. So on average, I spend around $335.60 a month on petrol. Okay, so to sum it all up, after having done 15,000 kilometers over 9 months, having been driving this every day, I still love it. It still looks amazing, and it's so easy to maintain. I don't think I've ever sent my car in for servicing for any major overhauls or major issues, electrical or not. And it's such a smooth drive. Even though it's not as advertised 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers, I think 7.2, 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers is still pretty decent. And it's quite practical for coupe as well. Yeah, and it definitely looks the part. It's sporty and it's sleek. So yeah, I mean, that essentially sums it up for my 9-month review of my car. Do let me know if you guys have any other questions. If any of you might be considering to get this particular car, I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. So let me know if you guys have any other video suggestions that you want me to do. If not, see you in the next vlog.